lack of access to credit and trade barriers are affecting businesses in some parts of the region. Now, the challenge, according to the traders, is crippling their ability to expand and create more jobs in the area.
The eastern region is abound with agro companies, beads, and the only intravenous therapy company that serves the nation and the sub-region. Although the companies are thriving, they are unable to expand and compete internationally like other big firms. Others have barriers to trade in other African countries. Some of them have been speaking about the challenges when they met officials of the Trade Ministry.
Some of the difficulties that we have encountered in the export arena relate to barriers that we encounter, especially in respect to exporting our pharmaceuticals to Nigeria.
At times, a customer will give you an order, but so far as it's a new customer, he or she will never give you an advance. But you have to find ways and means, and if you are able to do it, then the order will double.
The Trade and Industry Minister, Dr. Ekospio Gabra, suggested some solutions.
The plastics, for example, are imported from a European country, and you have quite a big plastics industry in Ghana. It's true that the quality standards for these plastics are not the same as are used for sachet water, for example. But anybody who does sachet water or water bottling could potentially, by adapting the equipment and the technology and maintaining certain international standards, also manufacture the plastics that are needed for a factory such as this, so that we keep more of the production in Ghana and create more jobs here. Premium quality.
It's still business, and let me do some comparison of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar. Well, barely 2 weeks ago, after injecting approximately $8.5 million on the forex market, we've seen barely some level of stability on the market. That's the cedi against the US dollar. Now we'll bring you a news desk report tracking the performance of the Ghana cedi. There is an update of this particular development. That's the FX market. But Correct Kingsley Marty has joined us on the line to bring us up to speed on some of the latest happening. A very good afternoon, Correct. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We've seen fairly some stability. Now, I compared this particular month of February to the month of February 2015, and you should look at the level of depreciation. We've seen about 5.9. That was 2015 February. Well, just about 2% depreciation this February. What could actually be the measures put in place by the central bank to ensure that prudent measures are in place?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Kweku. I must also say that we've done from 7 weeks into the first quarter, but I can say that so far it's been quite good for the cedi, and we have just about 6 weeks to go, and the first quarter, which is normally the critical period for the cedi's movement, has been quite good for the cedi when you compare to the same period last year. Now, there are certain key measures that the central bank has been putting in place and continue to, put in place to ensure that the cedi's stability is contained or is sustained. First of all, you notice that on the supply side, the central bank strategically releases FX depending on the need for it and where it is needed. So the central bank is not starving the market on the supply side. Then beyond that, there is also the issue of repatriation of export proceeds directly into the banking system by companies and businesses. So normally what used to be the case is that they surrender these proceeds to the central bank, who then releases it as and when they deem it fit. But on this particular occasion or going forward, what the central bank is doing is to ensure businesses that bring in this export proceeds releases them into the banking system so that supply is always there and there are no volatilities in terms of supply. Then we should also remember that the 2-year note has been open to foreign investors, and every now and when it is auctioned, foreign investors are allowed to bid. And when they bid, they bring in these hard currencies, depending on their appetite, of course. But they bring in some foreign currencies, which also help to supply the market with this effect. So on the supply side, those are the measures that have helped, supported the cedi so far. And we are seeing that these measures will be sustained down in the months ahead.
All right.
On the demand side, the central bank has also been active, mopping up excess Ghana cedi liquidity to ensure that there are no surprise or shocks to the demand side. And consistently, the central bank has been mopping up in excess of 1 billion cedis on the market. Last week, for instance, they mopped up 1.9 billion cedis from the market. After they had mopped up 2.2 billion cedis the previous week. So even on the demand side, the central bank is regularly mopping up Ghana cedi liquidity from the market to ensure that there are no excesses to cause substantial pressure on the local currency.
All right, Courage, I'll say a big thank you because this afternoon you've had the opportunity to explain it all to us. I'm sure we'll get back to this subject again later this evening when we hit business focus. But let's do other stories now. The illegal importation of frozen products is still rife at the Tema ports despite government's efforts to regulate the flow of the products into the country. Now, 3 years after the Ministry of Food and Agriculture introduced the new permit system, the number of importers allegedly engaging in the practice have increased.
Some 3 years ago, port authorities could handle hundreds of reefer containers which are imported to the port. More than 200 boxes of reefer containers flood the terminals daily. But a research revealed that some importers do not even secure permits before importing them, whilst others also falsify the documents.
There were times where some of us were not even in the country, but you come and find a document that supposedly I signed, to give permit to somebody. There were times that we saw documents of former deputy ministers of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture having signed, for people to come and import goods.
As a result, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture reintroduced a system to regulate, discourage importation, and allow the local industry to grow. Not even the introduction of the electronic documentation at the port has stopped the practice.
If we gave you permit, they will only work on your containers if they receive the electronic copy from the ministry, and if they did not, then they will disregard whatever permit that you brought to them. That has gone a long way to help, but we still have some people who have also planned. We know that there are people who bring in containers and they will find their ways of going and pushing those containers towards ocean and going behind and then purchasing those containers through ocean.
Port authorities, customs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture are therefore bent on clamping down on them. They have diverted all the frozen products to be stocked at one place. The new 900 capacity reefer container yard is expected to be open next week to solely take delivery and control the practice.
All right, so the clashes in Bunkurubu community has affected businesses. Now, our correspondent Zaybab Ismail reports that once busy commercial town is now a ghost town.
The people in Bunkurugu are farmers, cultivating mostly yam and groundnuts. The conflict in the community has affected farming activities and other businesses. Most residents now sit under sheds idle, lamenting their fate. Some shop owners have also fled the town. Before the violent clashes, the district assembly of Bunkurugu could generate about 102,000 cedis annually as internal generated fund, but now it is not the case.
Nobody is going on maybe his normal business. So how do you go and take money from somebody who's not even working? You go to market, the people are not even there. From whom do you take the levies? So IGF for now, is just nothing we write home about. Initially, before this conflict started, it's a commercial town. Nampanduri, another big town, Jimbali, there are a lot of big towns around. But the conflict now is not affecting only Bunkurugu, but all the surrounding villages.
All right, so we're taking you back to the northern part of the country where foreign investors have started arriving in the country ahead of the 20th SADA International Trade Fair, scheduled to be held in Tamale in the northern region from the 25th February to the 7th of March this year. Singaporeans and other foreign nationals have already begun preparations ahead of the event.
Events coordinator at SADA, Chris Anab, was on news at 10.
This fair, as I indicated, presents a very unique opportunity for us to drive investments into that part of the country. We together with the trade fair, remember we're doing this with the trade fair, and we're really grateful for them making the decision to organize the trade fair in Tamale. After 20 years, it's usually been the seat of Accra. Right. So for the first time, they're moving it out. And we are very much aware, both local and international exhibitors are coming from South Africans. The South Africans are already in Ghana. They are so eager to come and exhibit their potential and to.
They have bought into the dream.
Yes,
hosting the fair.
Yes, they are already
They've been attracted, very well attracted.
They are very, very much interested in the fair. They are already in town. We have confirmations from India, from Turkey. Also from Niger.
The CEO of SADA, Charles Abugri, says the program is aimed at the total transformation of the SADA zone.
SADA catalyzes by co-investing. We cannot bring about the cities of the future to avoid the mess of the current cities of Ghana. Planned, clean, organized, urban environments that are strongly linked to the economies in the local environment. Fortunately, we are receiving large visitations and interest by private investors. We have to build our capacity quickly to be able to handle the renewed interest and confidence in SADA.
All right, so that's all we have for you in business.